G'day and welcome to Heathcote Raceway, where today we're going to be answering the question, how quick is the Skoda Octavia RS sedan? We'll do 0 to 60 miles an hour, 0 to 100 k's, a quarter mile and 100 to 0 braking test. I'll show you how to use the launch control and some tips and tricks we use to match or hopefully even better the manufacturer claims. Let's have a quick look at the specs and then get into it. Here we have Volkswagen Group's ubiquitous EA888 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, producing 180 kilowatts and 370 newton meters. It's attached to a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox, and Skoda claims 6.7 seconds from 0 to 100. So let's see how we go. So, how quick is the Skoda Octavia RS? Well, before we find that out, obviously we need to set up our drive modes and activate launch control. One thing to mention firstly is that there's no drift box in front of me. One of the adventures of doing performance testing in modern cars is that things you take for granted are sometimes disappearing. So there's no actual 12-volt outlet in the cabin of the Skoda Octavia RS. Thankfully there is one in the boot, which means that the drift box is in the center console and packed in because we're not allowed to move it because it's GPS based and it will affect the reading. Anyway, so we obviously need to set up the drive mode and activate the launch control, which this car has. This used to be a lot easier, but like a lot of the latest Volkswagen Group products, everything's kind of buried in this main screen. So we go to Vehicle, we go to Vehicle tab, swipe right, go around to Brakes, ESC System, ESC Sport. I don't know why ESC System's in Brakes, and I don't know why it can't be just one button, but there you go. That's the world we live in. So, and then I got the gearbox in S. Now it's simply a case of left foot on the brake, floor the throttle, let the computers do the work. However, there is still something the driver can do. That's make sure you pick the grippiest bit of tarmac you can. If there's any sort of muck on the road or anything, avoid that. Give the computer the best chance at getting all that power to the ground. So, let's see how we go. Launch program active, we've got 4,000 RPM on the clock, off we go. Lots of wheel spin, ugh. The computer just killed that. Tried to take off, wheel spun, ESP just killed it. So we'll see what it does. Still pretty quick once we're going, about 165 over the line there. Let me just slow down. Let's have a little look at what we did. Okay, so that felt like a pretty ordinary launch. As you can see, the car just died and then took off again. However, we've just matched Skoda's claim. So 0 to 60 miles an hour was 6.5 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6.7 seconds, matching the claim, and 14.8 second quarter mile at 163.1, so a little over 100 miles an hour. There you go. Okay, run 2. So, given we matched the Skoda's claim on the first run, I'm going to try something different. So last time we ran ESP in Sport. Let's try traction off now, because I wonder if that will still cut in or let us have a bit more wheel spin. And hopefully not let the ESP grab it again and do that big dive like it did last time. So, again, left foot on the brake, floor the throttle, launch control. Well, that lets plenty more wheel spin, that's for sure. I don't know what that's going to do to the time. The last one felt slow and was 6.7, so we'll see. Again, once it's going, this thing's pretty quick. So that was a very different run. Didn't grab it and kill it anymore. It just lit up the tyres and we went. So what did it do to the time? 6.9. So still, it wasn't a million miles off, but it was a bit slower. So we got 6.6 seconds to 60 miles an hour, 6.9 seconds to 100, 14.9 second quarter. So a bit slower. However, there might be a sweet spot if I try and do it myself. Let's find out. Now I'm going to try something else now. I'm not going to use launch control. I'm just going to try and, I guess, finesse it off the line myself and see if that works. Okay, so, interesting. So, with the launch program active, I don't have to use all the revs. If I floor it, it goes to 4,000 RPM, but I can actually choose, it's come up launch program active, but I can choose my launch RPM. That is handy. So we'll just try 2,500 RPM. Okay. Didn't have lots of wheel spin, didn't die too much from the ESP intervention, so I don't know, let's see what happens. Okay, let's pull up. How do we go? Success. So that's 0 to 60 miles an hour in 6.1 seconds, 6.4 seconds to 100, and 14.5 seconds for the quarter. So there you go. This has launch control, but doing it yourself, kinda, is faster. This needs a bit more experimentation, I think. And there's a massive snake on the track. Yeah, that's different. Okay, so last time we discovered that the launch control program actually lets you choose your launch RPM. If you just flatten the throttle, like in the handbook, you get 4,000 RPM, drops the clutches, but you get way too much wheel spin with traction control off. And in ESC Sport, the ESC cut in, lost a heap of momentum, lost a heap of time. Last time I used 2,500 RPM. It's a real balance just trying to get that right amount of wheel spin without the electronics cutting in. So I'll try that again, but to try and feed the throttle in a bit more gently. So now we've got about 2,800. Oh, see how we go. Not sure on this one. There was a bit of a stutter in first gear, but it also hooked up pretty well after that. So let's see how we go. What do we got? 6.5 seconds to 100, so a bit slower. On the way back from a run, we'll do our 80 to 120 overtaking acceleration by just letting the car sit at 60 kilometers an hour, then flooring the throttle, letting the gearbox sort itself out, and giving us that 80 to 120 figure. Here we go, floor it. Strong torque in this thing. Sounds pretty good as well, but you have to turn the noise down, the artificial noise, otherwise it sounds really weird. And then we just let the car float and brake. 100 to 0. Oh. So 36.4 meters, 100 to 0. 3.6 seconds, 80 to 120. 6.1 seconds to 60 miles an hour, or 97 k's an hour. 6.4 seconds to 100 k's an hour, and a 14.5 second quarter mile. So there you go, that's 0.3 better than the official claim. Don't automatically assume that launch control is the fastest way, because with a bit of human input, you might be able to shave a few more tenths off.